Welcome everyone to today's Solution Series webinar. If you would, please take a moment to look at the chat area at the bottom right corner of your screen. If your chat box is not open, simply click that black chat icon in that corner. You will note the to option above the chat box. Keep the everyone option selected to share with the entire audience. If you have any technical problems today, you can change that option to host and send a message to me privately. Feel free to chat your great questions and comments to everyone throughout the presentation. We will have time for those questions during the Q&A at the end of today's webcast. And welcome to today's webinar, Creating Clarity Out of Chaos. Organize and unlock your firm's knowledge with a legal DMS. And now I would like to thank our sponsor, Documents, the world's #1 trusted cloud platform where legal professionals do their best work. Your cloud first, cloud only content management platform where you can secure, organize, automate, and collaborate on everything that matters to you. And we are excited to be joined today by Michelle Spencer and Liz Pugh of Documents. Hey, Michelle, you can go ahead and take it from here.
Great, thanks so much. Thanks everyone for being here and spending time out of your day with us. I'm going to go ahead and switch over to green and take it away. So many days we end up in triage mode, just trying to get the high priority deadlines completed with no time to spend on more strategic projects. You know, the ones that would move the business and your different practices forward, or even get you home earlier for dinner, a little more time on the weekend. We're chasing clarity while continuing to just exist in chaos, wasting hours per day just trying to find the right files and move them forward to the next step in the workflow. And as leaders, we sometimes end up spending so much time working in the business that we fail to realize that a little work on the business would get us and everyone else out of that triage mode. So if you wish there was a better way to get out from under that chaos and gain more clarity in the day, then you're in the right place. So we appreciate you being here with us. And as Joy said, I'm Michelle Spencer, part of the Documents marketing team, and I have over 40 years of experience in legal, serving first as a legal assistant and paralegal before I moved over to leading firms through technology changes and improving their work lives. So I've lived through the chaos to clarity process many times. And I'm joined by Liz Pugh, our solution engineer today. And Liz will be doing the heavy lifting on showing you how the product actually brings you out of chaos into clarity. So what do we mean by going from chaos to clarity exactly? So if you've been wondering, how can I organize and find all of the things in my firm and get things organized in a better fashion? And then exceed my clients' security expectations and protect myself and my practice from the dangers of ransomware, malware, things like that. And how can I make collaboration transparent and effective with clients, witnesses, experts, all of the people that you have to deal with opposing counsel when you're handling matters. And then taking that even a step further and automating your expertise. So this is getting to the clarity, but what about the chaos? We want to find out kind of where you guys are at right now. So we want to ask a few questions to get you thinking about your own workday and how documents flow across your desk, or these days your screen, each day. So really starting with the basics. How many documents do you work on in an average workday? And we've got a few people who've answered, but we've got quite a few who have not answered yet. So we'll give a couple moments for folks to think about how many documents come across. We've got quite a few in that 21 to 30 frame. And Joy, if we want to go ahead and show the results. So yeah, we have some that fell into the 1 to 10, some that fell into the 11 to 20, and it pretty much even between that and the 21 and to 30. I'm glad we had no one in the 30 plus because that would be a whole lot of chaos for you. So glad we did not have that. So first it's the number of documents. Now we want to think about how many places are there where documents are stored when you start searching. So I'll name off some common ones and then you can start to count them up. So a practice management system, a document management system, OneDrive or SharePoint, Box or Dropbox or some other file sharing app, Outlook, Teams, an e-signature or e-discovery platform, electronic court filing systems, other court or agency kind of sources. So go ahead and give your answer to that poll. Think about how many places are there that the documents could potentially be where you're working. And when I started making that list, it was kind of like, oh, that's a lot of different places where files could end up. And I think we've got most people have answered now. So sharing, none in the 1 to 2, not surprising. It's going to be more than that. Some in the 3, most falling into the 4 platforms. So that's not surprising either. And then some in the 5 plus. So our files are living in lots of different places. And what happens there is you can end up with copies all over the place and not have that kind of single system of record. So then thinking about those places, some people are browsers, some people are searchers. So let's think about how those platforms are structured and how well the content is organized or not. So how well does that structure enable you to find the documents and the files that you need to get your hands on? So is it extremely well? It's good enough? Not very well? And we'll give just another second for folks to answer. Looks like most folks are falling in the well enough, but some are in the not very well. Interestingly, none in the extremely well. So it's kind of, yeah, good enough, but quite a few also in the not very well. And so then for those occasions where the organizational structure doesn't help you quickly get to those documents, how well do the search functions work to help you get to them? So if I don't have it kind of at my fingertips, then I'm going to have to resort to search. So how well does that function work for you? And again, same options of extremely well, well enough, or not very well. We'll give another moment or so for folks to weigh in, thinking about the search function. And so on this one, most are falling into, yeah, the search function works well enough. Again, nobody's saying, hey, it works extremely well, which I'm happy to report. Something we hear a lot about documents is that, hey, man, the search actually works. And then we have a good chunk in the not very well. So be thinking about when you're looking at solutions, like how does the organizational structure enable me and how does the search function enable me to get at what I need? And then we've got a couple more. So how much time do you spend looking for documents each day? So thinking about all those different documents that you handle, the number of places that they are, how those platforms are organized, and how well their search functions work. How much time do you think you spend searching for those documents each day? And that could be like going from place to place in the organizational structure. It can be using the actual search function. All right, so for this one, most, thank goodness, are falling in the less than 1 hour, but we do have some that fell into the 1 to 2 and 2 to 4. Glad to see no one is spending more than 4 hours of their day searching for documents. That would be really bad. But even spending, you know, less than an hour, if it's a half an hour or, whatever it is, and especially the 1 to 2 and the 2 to 4, if you're spending that much time searching, that's kind of crazy. So finally, one of the things that's really critical when you're going from chaos to clarity is having a single system of record, at least for the work product that you create on behalf of your clients. Before we went digital, the paper client file was the system of record when I started my career. And for some of you, it may still be, although I would hope that post-lockdown, we really realize the need for digital document storage and remote access that grants. So understanding you may have a separate system for e-discovery content, and excluding that, do you have a single system of record for your work product, your expert reports, your due diligence content, your court filings, all of that, or not? And this is a simple yes, no, or I don't know. So we'll give folks a moment to answer that. And we've still got some folks that have not answered. Give another moment and then we'll share those results. All right, let's go ahead and share the results there. And it's looking like for this one, we've got most people in the yes, although there are some in the I don't know. So that is good. That's at least that kind of first step is getting everything client work product wise in one space. And now that we have kind of had you dwell in the day-to-day chaos that you may be experiencing, we want to look at how to start moving from chaos to clarity and help kind of give you a way to think about that. So it can really be helpful to think about the types of technology solutions that you're using. So the places where documents end up may have a variety of functions, and their tools are designed to work for those specific functions. So if you're using a tool that is designed for only one thing or something different entirely and trying to use it for document management, that could be contributing to your chaos. So for example, basic solutions, file storage solutions like OneDrive or SharePoint that are tied to individual users versus the organization as a whole, and don't include things like controlled versioning and robust search tools, or a structure that's organized into matter workspaces by default, can cause some of the chaos. And the same is true of most file sharing solutions like Box or Dropbox, which can create file chaos really quickly. Whereas communication and collaboration tools like Outlook and Teams were designed more for conversations, but not really fully managing the data and files that go along with a matter or a case. And even though practice management systems have been sold as all-in-one solutions, That's a little bit of a myth. Sometimes their document and email management functions tend to be lacking capabilities. So basic functionality like OCRing all of your content, support for versioning, and again, the robust search capabilities. And the good news is that we partner with and integrate to kind of take over the document function right within the legal practice management systems and provide those additional tools for actual document management right within your practice management system. But that's not all. A full document management system like NetDocuments is going to enable those full end-to-end workflows with integrations to solutions like e-filing and electronic signature tools that you're already using. It also includes security tools for applying ethical walls, full integration with tools like Word and Outlook to meet you where you're already working and not take you out of the flow of your work. Even mapping email folders to sync emails to Matter workspaces automatically. And then for the collaboration piece, collab spaces that allow the uploading and downloading of documents to maintain that single system of record and keep from having copies scattered everywhere. And it's all in the cloud, so it can be accessed from anytime, from anywhere, anytime on any device. And Liz is going to show us how that leads to a lot less chaos and a lot more clarity in your day. So Liz, take it away.
All right. Okay, so I am going to walk you through the NetDocuments platform. Are we seeing my screen? Are we good there on your side, Michelle? Can you confirm for
I
me?
am not, I'm still seeing mine. So I'm going to stop sharing and let you take over sharing.
I apologize. I didn't hit the share button. I hit share, but then didn't hit share again. So this will be better. There we go. All right. So NetDocument, and Michelle's mentioned a couple of things already. So we are fully cloud-based. We offer a lot of tools, internal collaboration, external collaboration, and I'm going to walk you through some of those items and solutions within NetDocuments. So first is going to be your home page. Anytime you log into NetDocuments, you're going to land on a home page. This is configurable, but the benefit to this is a very easy way for you to be able to collaborate internally with each other. From here, you can see that we've favorited items such as documents. You can favorite your client matters as well. But then the collaboration piece comes into this drop down where we can now switch to another user's platform or homepage, excuse me, where we can now have access to documents that Jake has put on his homepage that maybe I need to work with him on as well. Now, when it comes to navigating to your client matter, there are a few ways that you can access your matters quickly. Of course, you can access them right here from your homepage. You can use the recent or favorited matters dropdown, but you also have the ability to search for your client matter using our Go to a Matter button. From here, you can type in your client name or client number, whichever is your preference, and the same will apply to your matter. So again, we can search for the matter name or matter number. And this is going to take you directly to what we call a workspace. Now, there are a few ways that you're going to be able to organize and look at your workspace to help take away and remove some of that chaos and give us some of that clarity that we're looking for. So one way that you can look at your workspace is in a folder structure. So this is an example of what that folder structure can look like. These are customizable and they can also be created as a template so that when another matter comes in, you don't have to recreate the folders one by one. You can reuse the same folder structure again. In addition to a folder view, if your personal preference is looking at your client matter in a list or chronological view, you have the ability to do so from here. A couple of really neat things within this list or chronological view is that you do have some preview information on the right-hand side. So once the document is selected, you're able to see things like your profile attributes or metadata fields are all currently associated to this particular document. You're also able to track and see the different version histories of that document as well. So this particular document does have 3 versions. We're able to see the comments and all of the information right from here. And then the last option that is available in the preview panel is an actual preview of the document. So you can click on this icon, and then it's now going to give you an actual preview of the document that you're looking at, so that you're not having to click on one document, realize it wasn't the one you were looking for, and then move on to another. Now, within the NetDocuments platform, searching is very, very easy and very, very quick. You may have noticed at the top of the screen, we do have a search bar here. This search bar does follow you throughout NetDocuments, so no matter where you are, you're going to be able to perform a search. When you click into the search bar, you can do searching based off of name and subject of the document. You have the ability to do an everything search. And when you're doing an everything search, this is actually taking into account any document that you've added to NetDocuments. So let's think along the lines of a PDF document that you've added. That is going to be OCR'd by our NetDocuments OCR engine that is built directly into the platform, so that as you're adding in those documents become immediately text searchable. In addition to that, you also have our advanced search screen, which allows you to get specific. Now, on this advanced search screen, you may notice right here in our cursor, where our cursor is blinking, to the right, there's a little tip. This allows you to, just a quick reminder that you can use your Boolean operators, wildcards, you can do proximity searches. But let's say for today's example, we're going to do a search based off of the word agreement. We know we're looking for a Word document, and maybe at this particular point, we know we're looking for the author, and we'll use myself, and we're going to go ahead and search. Now we
And
also
I notice it automatically put in the client and matter
yes.
because you were in the workspace.
Yes. So just like Michelle called out there, because I was in the client matter, and you can see that history right here, this is my search criteria. We were in the client searching under this matter. And I'm going to point out that the word agreement has been bolded. You'll see that in the body of documents, and some of these don't have the word agreement in the title. And that's where that OCR engine is coming into play and making that search of that document quick and fast. Now, Michelle did also mention some integrations, one of which is directly with Word. So when you are drafting a brand new document, for example, we have an NDA. When you're saving that document in Word, it's going to actually have a direct save or integration to NetDocuments. So on the left-hand side, you can see I've my recent workspaces or the client matters. And then from within there, once you've identified your client and matter and the folder in which you want to save this to, on your right-hand side, your I almost said preview panel, your metadata or profile attributes are going to be pre-filled for you over here. We'll go ahead and title this. I'm just going to title this a sample NDA document, and we'll go ahead and save that. Now, once you hit save, it is automatically going to be saved from Word directly to NetDocuments. It is going to be profiled or indexed with your metadata and profile attributes. And it is also going to give you your document ID and version number as well. And you can see that in the footer also. Now, versioning is very simple. I'm just going to keep it really high level. I'm just going to make just a couple of very quick changes. I'm going to bold, and we're going to underline and then highlight this paragraph. Now, this time when we go to save, we're going to use the Save As functionality in Word. We're going to see a very similar screen, but at the bottom, this is where we're going to be able to indicate whether or not we want this to be a new version. So we can see that we already have this saved as a full version. The official version means that this particular version of this document is going to be the official document or official version. And then the version and description fields are just comment fields. They're not required. They are there if you wanted to add additional information. And now we'll hit save. This document will now be saved directly into NetDocuments. It will now be saved as version 2. And you'll see that in the top in Word, in the bar Word. And then you can also see that V2 in the footer of our document. Now, the other integration and other very important piece to affirm is email management through Outlook. Michelle mentioned this. There is the ability to map your Outlook folders from your Outlook directly to NetDocuments. You'll notice that I've got these 6 that have the blue folder in front of them. That lets us know that these are currently mapped. And the way that this is going to work for you is that when you receive an email from one of your clients, for example, you can just drag and drop your email from your inbox over to the folder in Outlook. And once you've dropped that email into that folder, that email is now saved directly to or filed directly to NetDocuments. Another way you can file documents from your inbox to NetDocuments is using our preview panel, or again, preview panel, our prediction analysis panel. So this is actually looking at a few things when your emails are coming in. It's looking at your subject line, who your sender and receiver were. And then it's also looking at the title or subject of the attachments, if there are any. And then based off of that 4 criteria, it is going to give you a prediction on where this best lives inside of NetDocuments. Now, all you would need to do to save this email is you would check the box next to the appropriate client matter. And then when you move on to your next email, you're going to notice this little teeny tiny checkbox, and that's letting us know that it's been filed. And we call this a global filing indicator. So anybody in the firm that was on that email and they didn't save it, but maybe you saved it, they are all going to still see it in their inbox, but they're also going to be able to identify that it was already filed to NetDocuments. And this helps eliminate unnecessary duplicate emails being saved to the NetDocuments platform. Now, Michelle also mentioned a really neat benefit with NetDocuments. We at NetDocuments really like to meet you where you work. So inside of NetDocuments on the bottom left-hand corner, this is a direct integration into NetDocuments. So if any of you spend the majority of your day in Outlook and you don't want to have to leave Outlook to look at a document or search for a document, you can do so right here. You never have to leave Outlook, and you can preview documents right from Outlook in your client matter. You can double check or double click on these, and this will open up the document in Word or PDF or Excel, whichever file format that's been saved in, so that you have that ability. Now you can preview the document here. And then last but not least, and I did mention, you also will have the ability to perform a search. So if you happen to be in Outlook, you're searching for a document or need to search for a document, you don't have to leave your Outlook in order to do so. You can do that right here in your Outlook. Now, saving or composing emails, you're going to have the same prediction analysis or predictive analysis, helping you determine where an email should be saved and whether or not you want to save it. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to send this to my colleague Ray. We're going to also just title this, documents for review. And I'm just going to include our client name. And as I enter in those details, you're going to notice that our prediction analysis panel is going to update, and we'll see that update over here in just a moment. To quickly attach documents, you can use our ND Attach tool.
Oh, and this is people's favorite, I can tell you, is the different things you can do with attachments.
There are some really exciting things with the attachments. So I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to grab just 3 documents really quick. Now you can attach these, maybe you're sending this to somebody external. If you're sending this internally to each other, you have the ability to provide each other links, which makes it very easy for you to be able to view, open, download documents if needed.
Without copy chaos going everywhere.
Yes, exactly. And then we also have the ability to deliver secured links, and we'll go over that in just a moment. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly insert these. We'll have our links, and this is what it would look like if you were sending this to each other internally. And then we also have the attachments, just so that you can see both. Now, this is where it gets really exciting, and this is what Michelle was just mentioning. This is a way for you to be able to edit your attachment. A couple of examples or use case scenarios here. Maybe in the message you are mentioning the attachments in a certain order, and you want your attachments to appear in that certain order as well. You can drag and drop and reorganize your attachments so that they appear in the appropriate order. You also have the ability to turn these into a PDF for the purpose of this email. Maybe you realize that this document here needs to be turned into a PDF, and also maybe you need to rename it. So I'm just going to remove sample, and I'm just going to include the year to that. Now, once you've applied those changes, we'll click OK, and it's going to make those changes to our attachments for you. So some quick edit features that can make your lives a little less chaotic when you realize last minute that something needed to be converted to a PDF, or that it was named inappropriately or incorrectly. So now you have that ability to make those changes quickly right here on at your email level. Now, when you're ready to send this, you can go ahead and hit send. If you forget to pick a box over here on the right-hand side, it will flash red. It's just a gentle reminder. Think of it as a tap on the shoulder. Hey, do you want to save this to NetDocument? And if you do want to save it, you'll go ahead and check your box. If you don't want to save it, you just hit send one more time and that's going to overwrite it for you. So let's go ahead and save that and hit send. So now when Ray gets this email, because I did save that, he's going to be able to see that it's been saved or filed to NetDocuments, but he's still able to review the email, the documents that were linked on that for him as well. Now, email is just one way of being able to save or send information, documents to external members. I'm actually going to quickly navigate to our client matter real fast. We're going to go back to our client Robert under our matter for the wedding service acquisition, and I'm going to show you that delivering of a secured link. Now, the delivering of a secured link can be done inside of Outlook as well as inside of NetDocuments. Some use case scenarios here is maybe you're getting ready to send out 20 documents. That's too many to send in an attachment file. You can deliver a secured link this way. Or maybe you just want to add an extra layer of protection to the documents that you are providing. On the Deliver a Secured Link page, you can choose to password protect it so that your recipient has to have a password in order to open the documents in the link. You can choose to create an expiration date. It does default 30 days out, but you can edit that if you wanted them to only have access until maybe Friday of this week. You would have the ability to control that expiration date. I'm going to uncheck the require password because I want you to be able to see all of the documents down here at the bottom that I've linked to this, so we can see all of our documents here. Jumping back up here to this top right, you also have the ability to control whether or not your recipient is going to be able to download the documents. So if you only want them to be able to view that, you can uncheck this box. You also have the ability to ask NetDocuments to notify you once documents have been accessed through that link. This can be a very beneficial and very important piece when you're sending out these documents through that secured link, because it's going to allow you to see that they did in fact access the documents that they requested or that you sent to them through that secured link.
Yeah, how many times have you had to check with somebody? Did you get blah, blah, blah? Did you
Exactly.
see what I
Yes.
shared with you? Yeah, now you'll know.
Yep. Or we had a firm a couple of months ago let us know that they had sent out some documents to a third party for review. And the third party turned around and attempted to bill the firm for 36 hours worth of legal document review when they in fact had only accessed the documents 8 hours prior. So the firm was able to save a good chunk of money and not having to pay their third party for 36 hours worth of document review when in fact it was only 8 hours worth. So there's lots of different use case scenarios that this can be very beneficial for you.
Yeah, because all of that's tracked on the back end of who's
Mhm.
interacting with the documents.
Yep, exactly. Now, the other offer or other tool that we offer within NetDocuments for sharing with external is through our collab spaces. And Michelle also mentioned this. The collab spaces is a way for you to create rooms or client portals. So you can see the different types of portals or collab spaces that we've created. The little blue man group right here, this lets you know just at a quick glance that external members may have access to this particular space. And when you go into this collab space, you're going to be able to see where we've shared some folders, we've shared some documents, and then again, that little blue man group indicates to us that we have that ability or external members have the ability to see these items.
And that's for uploading and downloading both, right?
Yep, exactly. Yep. And then another thing that Michelle mentioned was the ethical walls. So ethical walls are important for internal use, but they're also just as important for external use. So there's a couple of ways that you can still control what your external users are able to do within this collab space. So in this drop down under our modify access window, you can see that some of our external groups only have view rights. Some have view and edit. It looks like our actual client has full administer right. And that can be done at your Collab space level, it can be done at an individual folder and individual document. So a prime example is if we open up this document, we can see that our external members only have view rights. They can only look at this document. They cannot do anything more than that.
And this is handy. I know we've got legal administrators on today, and you may have financial or HR data or things like that that you want secured more tightly. And that's really easy to do. You can create repositories that only certain people have rights to, or it can be done at any level, really. It's very granular.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so that was everything we were showing or hoping to show today for the net document. We're always happy to show or deep dive later on if needed, but we wanted to cover just some of the things within net documents that can provide you some clarity and remove some of that chaos that you might be experiencing in your day-to-day.
Yeah, and Liz, we did have one question come in. Someone asked, can you allow external users to view and not download a document?
Yes, yes, you can. So you do have the ability to only allow them to view that document with no download property or download permission.
Exactly. And I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to my screen, and we'll wrap us up and then give some time for you to ask whatever questions you may have. So the robust feature set that Liz showed you isn't all that you get with Net Documents. There is a lot more that's going on behind the scenes. So Net Documents has been cloud from the beginning for 20 plus years. And that was before anybody even had a term for the cloud. And so while many professionals in IT might understand why that maturity in the cloud is important, a lot of times we'll get questions, especially from attorneys, why is this important to me? And this slide really does a good job of explaining why. On this slide, you're looking at a snapshot of the NetDocuments platform that contains over 56 million data points. And so what may look like chaos to you is clarity to us. These graphs are a visual look into how end users are interacting with our system over both a 5-minute period and 4 hours. So for over 20 years, we've watched how people just like you interact with our platform. And we've watched so that we can understand where they succeed and fail. And as a result, it's helped us learn valuable lessons. And the biggest lesson that we learn is that it's not enough to give someone a newer, cleaner, better looking interface or the latest AI tools. There's a whole lot more than that. And we've learned that the way that an interface alone looks isn't going to give you the user adoption that you're looking for. And so let's kind of summarize what we've learned through that 20 plus years of watching how people interact. So the ways that NetDocuments brings clarity to your firm are first and foremost by providing unrivaled security and governance. So you don't have to worry about maintaining servers and being in compliance with kind of the ever-changing data privacy requirements. And then that easy version management that Liz showed that makes it easy to identify what's the official version. It's easy to do red lines, track the history. So you're not slowed down looking for the final, or file stamped versions of files. Those are going to be very clear. And that's one thing that we didn't even show, but our electronic court filing integrations, which we have with all the major providers, you send the document right from NetDocuments, and then it comes back and it has a flag indicating that it's the filed version. And then search. So Liz showed how easy it was to have lists of recents and favorites for both documents and workspaces, how easy it was to use that go-to, kind of the Google-like search. And then she didn't even show the ability to filter. So if you get 4,000 documents, you can start to filter by practice area, by author, and things like that. So you don't have to stop and stop your workflow and do searches, because so many of those things are right there at your fingertips. But when you do need to search, you've got tools for that too. And then the seamless collaboration for both uploads and downloads, internal and external. And then those secure links. So for those kind of individual, or I've got to share more documents than I can send by email, I can either put those in a collab space or I can send those secure links. So several different ways to handle that. And what's nice about that is then that's all tied to your Matter workspace. So again, that everything in one place, that single system of record. And then the integrations with your favorite M365 tools like Word and Outlook, as well as over 150 other common legal tools. Things like practice management, e-filing, electronic signature. That makes compliance and adoption a whole lot easier, because it kind of keeps everyone on the same page. It keeps you from having that desktop chaos of copies of documents and things like that.
And Michelle, we had a question come in that is kind of relative to the familiar workflows. The question was, how well does this program work with any other program examples, CRMs? I would also imagine practice management, time and billing, things like that. And we integrate with hundreds of them. Some to name off the top of my head are things like Clio, Carrot, Tabs 3. Those are just some of the billing platforms, but we do also integrate with other CRMs as well.
Pacer Pro, InfoTrack, ECFX, thinking of the court filing ones, DocuSign, where you can right click, send to DocuSign, then it comes right back into your Matter workspace with a flag showing it's been signed. Yeah, so if you're interested in a specific integration, on our website under the partners area, we actually have a search where you can search, and a lot of them have put videos and things like that. And so then finally, how long has it been since you've tested your backup systems and made sure that everything not only is being backed up, but that you can reproduce it out of the backup system? Law firms are at a really high risk of ransomware because they have the most salacious data to someone, and they contain the data for multiple people and organizations. And so they are a high target because of that large amount of confidential data that they maintain. So it's not if you're going to suffer a breach, but when and how severe it's going to be. And you haven't seen chaos until you are completely dead in the water and all of your files are locked up. So talk about chaos and a productivity hit. And it's happened to some of the biggest firms that have made the news. And so having our security that gives you those kind of granular encrypted individual document security tools, as well as the bigger tool of having your content that's always constantly backed up in the cloud and safe if somebody does get to, a desktop in the firm and something spreads that way. And then there's the ability to do the ethical walls and things like that that Liz already talked about. And so that's those, every single one of those just adds another layer of protection to prevent data loss. So returning to this slide that illustrates what clarity might mean for you, we talked about organizing and being able to find everything and exceeding your and your client's security expectations so you don't end up embarrassed by a ransomware attack or a malware attack. And then making collaboration transparent and effective. You saw several ways to do that. And then the piece that we didn't even talk about beyond just the workflows with our integration partners is we have a full automation tool that can be added to the platform. And then we've also added the ability to make generative AI calls from that platform, Pattern Builder. So hopefully we've made the answer to accomplishing these things clear. But if you'd like to see more, here's how you can get in touch with us. And then we are ready to answer any other questions that you might have of us.
Great. Thank you so much, Michelle and Liz. We appreciate that. I do want to encourage attendees to put any additional questions in the chat box. I do have a few here that I would also like to ask that had come in earlier. So someone wants to know if you could give a little bit more detail about how NetDocuments manages email.
So with the direct integration with Outlook, we saw a couple of those ways. You do have the ability to map those folders directly from NetDoc or from Outlook, excuse me, to NetDocument. So you can drag and drop emails very easily. We've even had some firms that really like their Outlook folders and will create rules so that when an email comes in from a certain email, it automatically sends it to that folder, which then will file that document directly to NetDocuments. We are available with the predictive analysis that is just machine learning. So as your emails, it learns your filing behavior, your firm's filing behavior, and makes it very easy to be able to file emails with just a single click, and that email is automatically saved. There are lots of firms that prefer drag and drop functionalities. So drag and drop is always an option to be able to save emails and or attachments directly into NetDocuments. I hope that answers the question, but Outlook is one of the better integrations that we offer when it comes to email management with the different ways to save those emails.
Great, thank you so much. And then also, this question, you mentioned OCR. Does that mean that all scanned PDFs and NetDocuments are searchable?
They are, yes. As long as it is legible, they will be automatically OCR'd, which then would turn around and allow you to text or search for the text of the body of that PDF document.
Okay, great. And then is NetDocuments only cloud-based platform?
NetDocuments is a truly cloud-based platform. We have been cloud-based since we came to be NetDocuments. With that, we do have some alternatives to be able to work offline, such as our ND Sync option. It allows you to sync directly from the NetDocuments cloud. So if you are in an area where maybe you experience power outages or internet outages regularly, or if you're ever traveling
on a plane
or you're headed into court and your Wi-Fi may be spotty here and there, we do have some abilities for you to be able to work offline using our ND Sync tool. And we see firms picking this up regularly for that extra backup peace of mind.
Okay, great, thank you so much. I have a question that just came in. I'm guessing pricing has a storage volume component. Do you have a tiered storage option? For example, I have lots of old data that likely won't be accessed again until they're eventually deleted. Could those be shifted to a lower priced, slower performance storage tier?
That is a really good question. And the pricing for storage is not necessarily a tiered storage option. It's based off of the size of the firm. Typically, when a firm is looking at making a transition from their current document management software over to NetDocuments, for example, during the migration process, you're going to work with a implementation partner that is a certified NetDocuments implementation partner. They're going to look at the documents and identify with you what needs to come over and what does not need to come over. So most firms, when you have old information, old data that maybe won't need to be accessed again until eventually deleted, or maybe you're just holding on to it because you have a retention policy in the firm. A lot of firms will keep that on a local server, for example. We do have another option that is called ND Mirror, which allows you to store data or documents on an SQL server that is hosted, that is controlled or maintained a little bit by NetDocuments in the sense that it syncs using an ND Mirror and an SQL server.
I can tell you from our experience, being able to see how often people are acting with aging content. Most of the time, if content is over 2 years old, it is very, very rarely accessed. Because I know a lot of times we want to hang on to all the content and make all the content available and searchable. But what we've seen is if it's over a couple of years old, most of the time it's rarely, if ever, accessed.
Great, thank you so much. And kind of piggybacking on that a little bit, can you talk about what are the first or next steps if someone's interested in getting started with NetDocuments?
Yeah, so first we would want to work with you one-on-one. We want to determine what it is that you're looking to replace. Maybe there's a certain pain or something that your firm is just not enjoying with your current workflow. At that point, we would like to walk you through a one-on-one demonstration where we can go and dive in just a little bit further into the questions that you have pertaining your workflow within your firm. From there, we will have an account executive or a sales representative that I myself may be working with. We have other solutions engineers that also work with different size of firms. At that point, after we perform a demonstration, we would get you in touch with one of our certified partners. They're then going to work with you to determine what you're going to be migrating over. They will then also be responsible for creating and setting up the NetDocuments platform. So they're going to customize it to your workflow for your firm. And then they are also going to be responsible for the training and implementation of the software for NetDocuments and your firm. So in the chat and on the screen that you're seeing now, you would want to reach out to NetDocuments where we can then go ahead and set you up with a representative to work with you on getting a one-on-one demo with myself or another solutions engineer and get you through the NetDocuments platform a little bit deeper so that we can answer any of those questions that you have.
Great, thank you so much. And I did have one more question that just came in. We have some retention policies that are based on what a matter close when a matter closes. Is it possible to set a retention policy so that X days, months, years after the matter closes, the data for that matter is deleted?
Yes, so you do have the ability to create retention periods or retention policies. What happens is when a document or a matter reaches that particular date for that particular retention policy, an email is sent once a month to an admin user. So some firms have anywhere between 2 and 3. If you're a larger firm, you probably have more than that. That are designated administrators over the NetDocuments platform. Those administrators, would receive an email from NetDocuments saying that this matter or these documents have met this particular retention policy. And then it asks you, what do you want NetDocuments to do with that? There is the ability to do a kind of a purge all. And maybe you decide you want to hold on to it for a little bit longer. You're not quite ready to purge it. You can also extend that retention policy.
Is there a limit to how many administrators can be designated for NetDocuments?
No, there's no limit. You can have as many as you would like.
Thank you. I think we have time for at least one more question. If any attendees do have more, you can feel free to put those in. But until that point, here's my last question I have documented. Are the metadata fields customizable? And is this a cap to how many you can have?
Great question. So the metadata fields in NetDocuments, they are fully customizable. So if you are using any tagging or profile attributes, metadata fields today in your firm, that information can come over during a migration, but then you are also not limited to just those metadata or profile attributes. They are unlimited. You can have as many as you would like in order to be able to appropriately tag and profile index your document.
And I'll tell you, something that I think is really cool is they are dynamic and they're nested.
Mm-hmm.
And so if I pick a specific document type, it can be set to show me an additional set of fields that can be completed. So like if I picked agreement, it could prompt me for the effective date, the termination date, and then really cool new AI feature that we just released with our automation tool is the ability to designate and extract using generative AI the specific data into specific fields. And that's really opening up some cool things with automation workflows.
Yeah, definitely.
People have been really excited about that one.
That's so exciting. I think anything with AI and the newest and greatest is always something that people are interested in seeing and hearing more about. So thanks for that.
So, yeah, and stay tuned in October. We already teased it at ILTACon, but we've got a product launch for an assistant product coming very soon.
Sounds exciting. Well, Michelle and Liz, thank you so much. That was the last of the questions. I'm going to turn it back to you for any final closing remarks. I do want to also remind the attendees that the email address and the website, as well as the phone number, is in the chat box if you are looking to connect with Michelle and Liz at Net Documents. But Michelle, Liz, if you have final remarks before closing out.
Thanks, Joy, for all of your help today, wrangling everything. Thanks to ALA for having us today, and also to the attendees for taking time out of their busy schedule to attend today. We really appreciate you being here. Hope this was
Yes.
valuable.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thank you again, Joy. We appreciated doing this. I had a great time. It was nice to meet you all.